For the third consecutive game against the New York Yankees, the Blue Jays allowed double-digit runs. For the third consecutive game, they allow a ton of home runs. And for the third consecutive game, they lose and get swept by the New York Yankees. And I think we just saw right there what this Blue Jays pitching staff is all about. Obviously, we have guys like Hyunjin Ryu, and other than Derek Fisher, Taijuan Walker has been pretty good for this team. And the bullpen clearly has been overused, but obviously this series, they didn't get used at all. You look at guys, the main back end of the bullpen, Dolis, Bass, A.J. Cole. I don't think they had touched the ball. Other than A.J. Cole facing one guy, I don't think any of those guys even touched the ball, this series. But the story of this series and the story of this game again today is the lack of pitching. It's just bottom line at what it was. The Blue Jays allowed 7 runs in the 4th inning. They allowed 6 home runs, 5 of which 5 home runs in the 4th inning. Back to back to back. Or was it back to back to back in that 4th inning? Let me check that out. They went, back to back to back. Then Hicks struck out. Then Stanton and Torres went back to back. That's terrible. That is absolutely awful. Now, I do have to give these guys a little bit of credit for the way they came back in this game. You had no reason to be in any of these games in this series, and you weren't in the first 2 games, and it looked like this one was going to be a laugher as well. But in that 9th inning, the Blue Jays showed a little bit of fight, even though, they were down a lot. I mean, it was 10-3 going into the 9th inning, and they really didn't have much fight left in. They score 4 runs. Obviously, Chapman comes in, and Bo Bichette hits a 2-run single, but nothing else doing. But, again, I got to give the guys credit for fighting back a little bit, but in the end, your pitching just was not good enough in this series. The Yankees are starting to get healthy. The Blue Jays throw out probably their 3 worst pitchers you probably can see. Okay, well, I wouldn't say Taijuan Walker, but, he wasn't great. Roark and Anderson are 2 of the Jays' bottom 5 pitchers, and it would not surprise me come playoff time if you don't see Chase Anderson or Roark even on the playoff roster. It would not surprise me the way they've pitched this year. Roark has an ERA probably north 6. I'm assuming with Anderson giving up as many runs as he did, 2 2/3 of 7-run ball. That's back-to-back games. He's only gotten 2 2/3, where he's given up a ton of runs. His ERA is now 7.45. Do you really want that on your playoff roster? No. And like I said, the pitching staff was not good. You brought Waguespack hits the IL. You get Wilmer Font reinstated. You bring up TJ Zoik, and Zoik came out there, and he threw 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, struck out 3, but he walked 3 guys, so he had a tough time. But he went 3 solid innings, so you get some length out of some guy at least. That's what you want to see. And of all people, it's so funny, right? The way this team has pitched all series long. And if I'm not mistaken, the guy in this series who has, the longest, scoreless inning streak for the Blue Jays in this 3-game set is Wilmer Font. Of an inning and a third today of 1-hit ball. That's how bad this pitching staff has been this series. The good news, you're done there. That's it. Thank goodness. Because these games were abysmal to watch. It was nice seeing a little fight late in the game, but in the end, you're seeing a roller Chapman pump hundreds. And other than Bo Bichette, who's a freak of a hitter, you're not going to get much else from anybody else. Last time Chapman faced the team, he struck out the side and went up 3 down. Today, other than the Bo Bichette single, he struck out Grichuk and struck out Hernandez. They got overmatched. Now, if I'm taking any positives, not really out of this series, but anything moving forward, the Jays head to Philly for a 4-game set. It's a doubleheader tomorrow. You don't see Jake Arrieta because he's hurt. You don't see Aaron Nola. And you don't see Zach Wheeler. That right there is a big-time positive. And the offense for this team got to get clicking early in ball games. Give your team a lead. Give your pitchers a lead. Because we can talk about all day about how the Jays, pitching staff wasn't great this series, and it really wasn't. And even in this ball game today, you know, they ended up tying the game at 2 with a Bo Bichette hit. But again, bad base running by Bo Bichette, getting thrown out at second base, where you could have had runners in the corners with 1 out. All you need then is a sac fly, and you actually have the lead. But he gets thrown out, 2 down, and Grichuk pops out on the infield, inning over. And you don't score again until the 9th inning. Small things like that really kill you. But they don't score until the 3rd inning in this game. They didn't score until the 6th inning yesterday. And then you look at the first, they obviously scored the 1 in the 2nd inning, but obviously that was followed up by, 13 or 12 runs by the Yankees. You got to get that offense early. Get that big punch offensively early in a ball game. They haven't done that. They didn't do it in this series. But I think the story of the next series for the Toronto Blue Jays against the Phillies, and obviously it's a doubleheader tomorrow, so only 7-inning ball games. Robbie Ray is actually going to be starting game 1. And the key for that series against Zach Eflin, he's having a terrible season. Zach Eflin, 5.10 ERA. He's got a lot of strikeouts, though. 52 strikeouts in 41 innings of work. For Robbie Ray, it's give us some innings. That's it. Not saying that the bullpen's taxed, because it really isn't, because your late inning guys haven't seen much work lately. And even Brockie only faced, a couple guys in his inning of work. I could be totally wrong with that, but no matter what, Robbie Ray, and I'm assuming that Alejandro Kirk is going to be behind the dish there tomorrow afternoon, or I guess early evening, 4 o'clock first pitch in the first game of the doubleheader, because Alejandro Kirk in his last, in Robbie Ray's last outing caught him, and he went 5 innings of 1-run ball. So why not give him a chance again? Plus, both catchers are going to be in that game. You're going to have Jansen probably catch the second game and Robbie Ray with Alejandro Kirk in game 2. Jays fans will be like, well, I don't know if it really matters. Jays fans from 2015-16, who are probably still around, do you remember Navarro and Estrada? How that duo somehow just worked? And it did. Navarro even caught him in the playoffs. That's how much it worked. Right? So I look at this scenario, and yes, it's only 1 start for Robbie Ray with Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. I get that. But he shut down a pretty damn good Mets offense. So I'm looking at this next series against the Phillies. Again, 4:05 first pitch tomorrow. The Phillies have been god-awful lately, 3-7 in their last 10 games. They had a really good stretch where they went on a nice winning streak, but they've really hit a wall lately. And if you're the Blue Jays, after this terrible series, you need to feel a win. And at this point, I don't care what it takes and what kind of win it is. These guys just need to feel a victory again. Because now they're getting used to getting blown out. These 3 games of giving double-digit runs in all 3 games is awful. The Yankees set records with home runs. For goodness sake, I think they had 6 home runs today, 5 yesterday. Maybe it was more than 5. Maybe they could have had 6 yesterday. I don't know. And then it was 7 the day before. You can't have that happen. So for this team, the focus going into this Phillies series is pitching. Without a doubt in my mind, is starting pitching. You're going to have Robbie Ray in game 1, Ross Stripling going in game 2. You're going to have Ryu in game 3, and probably Taijuan Walker in the finale. The focus that we are all going to have on this 4-game set is pitching. Because Jays fans, you look back to the Yankees series, they scored 7 runs today, ideally 4 in the 9th inning, but you scored 7 runs. You scored 6 in game 1. Yeah, you only scored 2 in game 2, but your offense wasn't downright terrible. It was your pitching staff. And you were facing some pretty damn good pitchers at some points. They scored, 3 runs off of, 3 runs off it to knock over 7 innings of work? That was better than I expected. Now, you're facing guys who maybe aren't the greatest. In Eflin in game 1, we don't know who's going in game 2. You have Velasquez, who got an ERA of almost 6.5, right? And we don't know who's going in the finale. These are guys with ERAs, at least, it's just numbers, that are not very good. So the Jays should go out there and put up some runs. So all our eyes should really focus on the pitching staff and what they can do in these outings. Game 1, 4:07 first pitch there, or 4:05 first pitch, excuse me, at still called Citizens Bank Park? Yeah, Citizens Bank Park in Philly. Robbie Ray, Zach Eflin is game 1 of the series tomorrow. Look, being a baseball guy myself, you have to have a short memory. Now, obviously, the game just finished in the Bronx, and the Jays lost again. And I get that Jays fans can be angry. And I don't blame you. They played terrible all series. But in the end, they're regular season games. You're still in a playoff spot. Don't get at me, oh, there are only this many games. They're in a playoff spot right now. And they're going to a different field now to play a totally different team. Totally new stretch now. The Jays can go into Philly and win 3 of 4, and we're like, wow, the team looks different now. Yeah, you got to take it one game at a time. Forget about this series the way it was. Yankee fans can enjoy it because it was definitely fun to watch if you're a Yankee fan. For Jays fans, forget the series. Focus on Philly now. That's it. That's all you can really do at this point. All right? So you know what, guys? Actually, no, before I even do that, I was actually going to really wrap this one up real quick. But let's get to the numbers real quickly here. The Jays actually have 12 hits in the ball game. Ideally, some of them happened late in the game, of course. Biggio went 1 for 4 in the game with a walk. Bichette went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Good to see him get a couple knocks in this one. Grichuk went 1 for 5. Good to see Teoscar Hernandez in his first start back. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, though. But again, it's his first game back. What do you expect? Look at Bo Bichette in his first 3 or 4 games back. He's really struggled. So don't expect Hernandez to come in and just hit 2 or 3 home runs in a game. Just take it easy a bit on him. All right, Vladdy went 0 for 4 with a strikeout. He did not have the great at-bats today. He has really struggled as of late. But somebody who has not struggled lately, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., and he's batting 7th. If he's batting 7th against Philly, Charlie's got to really he has a screw loose up north. 4 for 4. For Lourdes Gurriel Jr. today, he had 3 runs scored. He had 2 RBIs. He had 2 home runs off of Tanaka. He's hitting .308 on the year. Over his last, 30 games? I think they said something along the lines of .330 batting average. He is raking the baseball lately. Why he's batting 7th is beyond me. But after going 4 for 4 with 2 home runs, you cannot bat 7th again. You just can't. We're going to have to wait and see. Travis Shaw went 1 for 4 in the game with a run scored. He had a double there in the 9th inning, kind of getting that rally started. Joe Panik went 0 for 3 with a walk in the game. And Danny Jansen, ideally, the third hit was an infield single, but he went 3 for 4 in the game, had 3 singles, 2 runs scored, had an RBI, and only hitting 172 on the year. But even though he's hitting 172, the on-base is .308. So, yeah, it's not that bad if you look at it. I mean, the batting average is terrible. 172 is not what you want to see. But again, a .308 on-base percentage, I'll take that from Danny Jansen. All right, we talk about the pitching staff. Julian Merriweather had the start. He went 1 inning, 2 hits, walked 2, and give 2 runs. He wasn't very good. We talked about Chase Anderson's abysmal time. We talked about Font. We talked about TJ Zoid. Now, all right, I think I'm going to wrap that video up here, guys. So if you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the little comeback by the Blue Jays, if you're a Jays fan, if you're the Yankees and you love the series, smack the like button as well, all right? Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the series, and if you're even going to look anything into the series and say, you know what, forget it, move on. And that's the way I'm trying to look at things, all right? Let me know in the comments below your guys' take on this series and what do you look for moving forward from this team. I mean, what do you think? I mean, like I said, my focus is pitching. What is your focus moving forward for this Blue Jays ball club, all right? Twitter is down below for myself. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, the Instagram link is down in the description, so follow up there if you've not done so already. And I will talk to you guys, Jays Edition, like I said, in game. I won't talk to you game 1. I'll talk to you guys game 1 and game 2, depending on how work goes and when I get home. I don't know. I probably won't be able to do game 1 video for you guys. It'll probably be a mashup of the first 2 games of the series. 4:05 first pitch. Zach Eflin. Not Zach Efron, by the way. Zach Eflin on the mound for the Phillies. Robbie Ray on the mound for the Blue Jays. 4:05 first pitch in game 1. And then 7:05 first pitch in game 2. Ross Stripling on the mound for the Blue Jays. And we're not sure who's on the mound for the Phillies as of yet. And Ross Stripling just looking to find a way to have a good start as a Blue Jay. He has not been pretty so far in a Blue Jays uniform. But we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out, though, in those 2 games tomorrow, right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.